Yo, it's definitely the Cloud Chaser TV, man. Fame of Cloud, man. We got some news for you today, man. We got a special guest, man. Tommy Walker. He in the building. Y'all know what that means. We gonna have the factual actuals. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro gonna give us his opinion in regards to, a lot of these situations could be crazy when it comes to the feds. A lot of things that the average person won't know. And I know a lot of people be politicking online and they be talking about whose case and this person's case and think they know all. And they never been in the feds. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I never been in the feds. And being a blogger, a lot of people bring that up to me, the guys that actually been in the feds, like, hold on, bro. You ain't been there. Let me tell you something. So, we got Tommy Walker in the building, as well as, if you don't know, bro, Tommy Walker, he helped free tons of people. You feel me? We're gonna get to that because we gonna got a case that we want him to speak on. If you're not in tune just yet, go check out the latest video I dropped in regards to X, you know what I'm saying, from the BX, Bronx Rivers. And first interview, he haven't spoke out in years. He's been actually in the federal penitentiary for over 25 years. Right now he has 3 life sentences. And once that story come out, y'all gonna understand how that shit is foul. You feel me? Shit is foul. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. It's just foul. And we also gonna speak on the K Flock case. I know that just started this week. K Flock, he had this whole situation, and y'all know what been coming out on social media as far as K Flock homie. You know, he's speaking on him, in court system. What does that mean for K Flock? That's what we want to know. So we're gonna ask Tommy Walker about that, as well as we're gonna have another special guest that chimes in that's from the Bronx BX. And he gonna be able to give us some insight on the BX and kind of give us his story before the interview, because I know y'all gonna be interested in that as well. Um, so right now we just gonna go straight to it. Our Big Meech. I can't forget about Big Meech. So we gonna speak on Big Meech as well. We gonna gauge on what's factual and what's not. So if y'all want to, man, hit that like button, share this on social media, Facebook, Twitter, X, what they call it nowadays, right? With a hashtag, let them know what we talking about. So Tommy, man, I appreciate you joining us today, bro. If you can, let them know like about your movement, bro. This is where they can follow you for starters.
How you doing, guys? Again, I'm happy to be back, and I enjoy being here. You always show a lot of love, and your audience shows a lot of love whenever I come on. I'm just happy to be back. A little bit about my background and who I am, and what qualifies me to give opinions in certain areas. First and foremost, I just like to let everybody know that I'm not a lawyer, nor do I claim to be, but I am a certified paralegal. I was incarcerated in the federal system approximately 5 years ago. I had 3 life sentences without the possibility of parole. While I was in the system, I educated myself. I went to school, and I was able to get out of my 3 life sentences. While I was there, I worked for the law department. I worked in the law library as the head clerk, and I did a lot of volunteer work for lawyers on the outside. And being, of course, in a federal pen, I had the opportunity to work on a lot of profile cases and to help and assist get hundreds of people off of life sentences and back home with their family and so on. And at the present time, working on a documentary that will be out soon. I don't want to go into too much details about that, dealing with the Supreme Team. So you guys are, the only thing I can tell you is watch it. It's going to be an excellent watch. It's going to be an excellent educational film that's going to be dealing with a lot of things that we're talking about now, as far as educating people on the system, how the system operate. And once you get indicted in these federal charges or these Rico counts, like most of the guys we're going to be talking about today, is what you're up against and what you're dealing with, and try to educate you and give you a good understanding on the system, how the system works and stuff like that, and so on. And, some of my qualifications that help me give a nice educational opinion on the topics is that I worked within the prison system as a jailhouse lawyer, and now I'm working out on the street as a jailhouse lawyer. And like I said, worked on quite a few high profile cases, and that's a little bit about me and so on.
Yeah, cause like recently we just had Prince come home. Prince, a lot of people know him from the Supreme Team. We heard that story, so you was involved in that as well, right?
Yes, that's correct. Actually, if anybody watched the Supreme Team documentary, episode 3, you'll see that I was featured in there, and Prince explained why he hired me before he even actually hired the lawyer. I actually recommended the lawyer for Prince in that particular case, and Prince, some of the things that he acknowledged was the success that I was having while I was incarcerated and helping people in their cases. And he felt that because of my knowledge of working inside and out in the legal field, that who would better represent him or who would better understand his case and what he's going through and the points that he's trying to make and present in his defense. And in that documentary, I was grateful, and I was grateful for a couple of reasons. At that particular time, Prince was still in jail serving 6 life sentences, and I felt honored that he came to me to get help and to get assistance before he even got out of jail. And God bless, he's home now. He's home with his family. He's doing good, and he's promoting, and he's trying to do a lot of positive things. You know.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. And then another high profile case that you was behind Guy Fisher, right? You was
Right,
behind,
that's
yeah.
correct. With Guy Fisher, in his particular case, I helped his co-defendant first, Wallace Rice. God bless Wallace Rice. He just passed away recently, about a month and about maybe 2 months ago. He just passed
Oh
away.
wow.
And
Dollas.
after having success on Wallace Rice case, getting Wallace Rice home, Guy Fisher called me. Guy Fisher had an attorney, and they asked me to work with his attorney and go through a few things and explain what I did in Wallace Rice's case and so on. And, of course, now, shortly after that, Guy Fisher was released, and he's home now with his family.
No, that's dope, bro. That's dope. We definitely need more men like you in our culture. We gotta uplift you every chance we get. Like I said, I appreciate you coming on the platform. So, today we had an interview with X from the BX, and he basically spoke on how he beat pretty much like 13 counts, if I'm not mistaken, and or 12 counts, and 6 of them was still standing.
Mhm.
And because the judge used like a witness testimony, which they never caught him with the drugs, but they saying that they was supplying him with 200 plus bricks, over 500 in that communication. And with that being said, he said that he ended up getting more points for it. So his points ended up being like 43 points, and ended up giving him 3 life sentences. And I asked him about it. I'm like, yo, Obama, I see a lot of guys coming home who had big time over drugs. And I said, would that apply to him? And he said it did, but the judge, the people that's overseeing this, is not communicating in the right fashion. So I know that you working on that as well. If you can give us some sort of update on that, bro.
Yes, most definitely. Xavier Williams, mostly people know him as X. You know what I'm saying? Um, He's from the Bronx. He had a high profile case out of the Bronx, sex, murder, money. Most people familiar with that, and so on. And we're working on his case. I believe he has an excellent chance of coming home, like people like Prince, people like Wallace Rice, and people like Guy Fisher. If I have to compare his case to those guys' cases, his case is down at the bottom. In an X case, there's no murders involved. My experience from talking to X and the knowledge that I've seen and the facts that I've seen in this case, he's been working very tough on rehabilitation and changing himself. And it's no doubt in my mind from communicating with him, he's a changed man. He's no longer the person that he used to be. And he has already served 20 something odd years to over 2 decades. And clearly, in my opinion, he deserves, like everybody else, a second chance, a second look at his case. And some of his programs. Hold on for 1 second, please. I got to take this call. This is my brother. Yep. He's trying to get in the text. Hold on, bro. I'm on live, man. I got to get Reg to call you or something. Okay. Look. Yeah.
Y'all go ahead and hit the like button, man. For us, hit the like button, share this on Facebook and Twitter.
Hold on. I'm all X. Live. Hold on. Chuck, can you have Reg? Can you have Reg give him a call and walk him through?
Yep.
Okay. I gotta go. Reg's gonna call you in a second. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes. So you was basically saying how like he's been active in working on his rehabilitation, and you think like the process that he's doing, he probably got a good chance, but you said that he's probably lower on the totem pole when it comes to a Guy Fisher and a Prince, as far as release.
Well, see, the difference in some of those cases is the violence element in X case is not there. You know, X has been programming. He's doing a good job. Prince and Guy Fisher also has been programming, you know. So when you look at those levels, they're pretty much the same. Prince had a lot of support in his case because a lot of people realized in his case that he was a changed individual. He was no longer the same person, and they felt that he could do more positive things on the outside. And I think X fits into that category too. You know, I think X does. He's in a position where a lot of people don't understand the First Step Act. The First Step Act gives a judge power and authority to
because I didn't really understand it.
It gives the judge the discretion. So you can have two people in the same similar situation, and one judge might give it to you, and the next judge might turn you down. And that's the power that was given to the judges within this particular procedure. And in X case, at this particular time, he doesn't have a judge who is really exercising that discretion to give him his claim. But also, I have to be honest, in X case, I noticed that one of the motions after reviewing his paperwork, one of the motions that he had filed, which was a 404B, he made a couple of procedural errors. And now we're hoping to get back in and reopen that motion. And hopefully the judge will review it, take a second look at it, realize the procedural errors that he made, realize that he wasn't a lawyer, realize he didn't have a lawyer at the time of filing this motion, and give him an opportunity to correct those procedural errors and go home. The motion that he would be filing is very interesting because it would be the same motion that Prince filed. And in X's case, under the facts of his case, he's clearly eligible. He's clearly eligible for a sentence reduction. At a minimum, the court is obligated to reduce his sentence from a life to 40 years. And in X's case, when you start considering the facts should warrant time served. And that's what we're going to be arguing for. That's what we're going to be pushing for. Not because he's entitled to it, but he actually deserves it.
Right. And I like that you said that. So when it comes to guys like X, you know, they pretty much painted as like leaders, because I read some headlines and they said like he was a leader. And does that affect that whole process?
In some cases, it's something that's considered, okay, and it's considered up under what they call 3553A factors, okay. But at the same time, it's considered you're dealing with intelligent judges. And these judges know that if you take a person like X, take a person like Prince, take a person like Guy Fisher, take a person like Wallace Rice, and you take a person like me, all of us has been charged with super drug kingpin status. And clearly, if you have the ability and the mindset and the intelligence to run an organization, after so many years, that could be turned into a positive action, and you can run an organization or business out on the street like I'm doing today.
Right, right.
You know, and X, like those other guys, he has that mindset. He has that intelligent ability to do that. Most of these guys, if you talk to them now without the tainted background, you'll realize that they learned from their mistakes, and you'll realize that they realize that crime doesn't pay. And so that for them, it's no place to go but up and ahead, you know?
Right, right. And that's one of the things I mentioned to X today in regards to like some of the youth. You know, a lot of the youth right now, Red said check your text. But a lot of the youth right now, they pretty much having a situation where, you know, they going to jail for guns, but because the gun is enhanced as a machine gun, you know, they put on a switch or whatever, they going to feds. Sometime this might be their first case, you know, and I just want to get your thoughts on that too. Like far as, you know, the like how do like, what's the difference from when the states picks up that type of case versus the feds, and why would the feds even pick that up?
Okay, sometimes the feds pick it up because they buy those cases. And
Okay.
in some cases, it's still fishing for evidence. It's fishing for evidence, meaning looking for the bigger fish. So by taking on those cases, they can almost guarantee where in the state you would only get 1 to 3 years for that gun case, right? But in reality, in the feds, you're looking at 10 years. Okay, so once they start threatening individuals, co-conspirators, or friends with the fact of 10 years, and that person don't want to do 10 years in jail for that gun charge, now what they'll do is they'll cooperate and they'll give up another individual, and they'll end up getting the same 1 year that they would get in the federal case. I mean, in the state case.
No, no doubt, no doubt. Appreciate that. Yo, we got Rich Dollas in the building. Yo, Rich Dollas, he got a platform as well. He's from California. And you know, I want him to chime in on a couple of different things, some of the topics that we're gonna go over. Salute, Rich. What's the word, man? Yo, hold on. There you go. Yo, Rich.
Is that me in the Matrix, Chuck? Or
no, you good now? Oh yeah, it must be you, bro. It must be you. Come back in, come back and go out and come back in.
That is me in the Matrix.
Yeah. So like, you know, just moving forward, you got this whole big Meech situation, right? And matter of fact, before I even move forward, I wanted you to tell people about X, like far as if they know him or whatever, right? Or even if they heard his story, what they can do to help him.
Hold on. Give me
Yo, Rich, what's the word?
I'll get his number for you.
I'm on a bad spot.
Yeah, man. Yo, I see you, Mac. What's the word, man? Yo, Mac, pull up, man. Y'all share this video, man. Like this video so we can get out to more people. You know what I mean?
Yo, bro, listen, we on live, man. I'm trying to get you Reg's number. You're gonna have to call him. Let me send you his number, okay? All right.
Yeah, so we gonna do that. But yeah, man, it's crazy though, man. A lot of these brothers got all this time for drugs, and in most cases, actually, they doing more time than say a person that unalived a person. You feel me? Yo, P, what's the word, family? I seen you in a minute, man. Salute to you. Yo, you back? 646. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me cut that. Yeah. Yo, Rich, what's the word?
What's good? What's good, family?
Yo,
Can you
what's
hear me?
good with it, family? Yeah, yep, I can hear you. Yo, Shad Watch, what's the word, bro? Shad Watch
Seems
pops,
like
man.
I'm in the matrix. I'm trying to get to a good spot.
Yo, P, good brother, man. P, a good brother. Hey, P, I don't know if you checked out that X interview I just dropped. I just dropped part one. You know, part two, he gonna get a little bit more into his case, and pretty sure we're gonna have a few more parts after that. But yeah, man, definitely dope interview, positive energy. You know what I'm saying? He definitely on the right path, trying to come home, man. 3 life sentences. It's crazy. Nasty work, you know, and he, like, from what I understand, he didn't have any murders in this case. It was strictly drugs, you know. And then I think they only found like 5 grams, or you know, maybe, yeah, it was 5 kilograms. I think five keys, maybe. Yo, Rich,
I think he said he was down.
what you say, Rich? Can you hear me now, bro? Yeah, man. Having technical difficulties. Got Tommy Walker back in the building. Yo, Tommy.
Yeah, I had to go take care of something with Reg real quick. Sorry about that. Apologize.
Yeah, no doubt. So, like we were speaking on, like, you know, people being basically identified as kingpins, and I know you had said that that could be a factor inside of, you know, these different motions and how the cases roll out. But, you know, in the sense of, like, it's people that's literally went to jail for drugs. They got life sentences, 50 years, right? And then there's people that murder people and they come home sooner. How does that work, bro, with the justice system? How do
Well,
they put these two factors together?
well, see, it's difficult to understand, but I'm going to try to explain it through my knowledge and through my opinion. Okay, if you look at the prison system, you have 85% of the people that's incarcerated, they're incarcerated in there for drugs. Okay, and we know, let's not fool ourselves, the prison system is a business. Okay, so the longer you can keep an individual in there, the more money you make. Okay, and clearly in your neighborhood or anybody else neighborhood, you're going to have more people arrested for drugs than you are for murder. You follow what I'm saying?
Right, that's a fact.
So with that being said, if you have an individual on a drug case and he's facing a life sentence, in most cases, and this is where you get your 5Ks from, your third parties snitching from, and stuff like that, these people are going to talk. 90% of these people are talking. 90% of these people are telling. And so that helps the business fluctuate. If you have the ability as the government to threaten an individual under arrest with a life sentence versus threatening an individual under arrest with 10 years or 20 years, that person with the 10 years or 20 years is unlikely to tell. But if he's facing life or the death penalty, then he's more likely to tell. He's more likely to cooperate. He's more likely to keep that business running and up and going at 100.
No, I got you. I got you. You got Louie LP in the building. Salute, bro.
Yo, salute, bro. How you doing?
Yo, salute. So it's Louie
Yo, salute.
LEP, right? My bad, bro. It's Louie
Hold
LEP.
up.
No, we got him in the building. So, you know, we appreciate you joining the platform as well. You know, I know you got a story as well. I want to interview you too on a one-on-one. Um, but you know, today we just going off a few topics. I want you to chime in, you know, because I know you got some expertise in this whole situation, this whole process. Can you hear us?
Yeah. I think because he was out and he didn't get a chance to hear the first part, so he doesn't even know the topics and what we're talking about, you know.
Right, right. Hey, Louie, can you hear me?
His mic is off, look like on this.
Yeah, it is. Let me see if I can. Yo, Louie, can you hear me? You got to unmute.
No, keep muting. Hold up. There you go. Okay, the mic is on. Coming off and going on.
Yeah, like right now it's off. Right now it's off. So you're good right now. So
Okay.
you know, I don't know if you you know, I was saying salute you. I appreciate you coming to the platform, but I don't know exactly if you heard like what we was talking about, but some of the subjects we was talking about, X from the BX, you know, basically his whole process trying to come home. We mentioned like a few things about the youth, like in regards to, you know, a lot of these guys getting caught with these guns, man, and because it's a switch on it, it's classified as a machine gun. So this could be their first case and they go fed, you know, and like Tommy was saying, could be facing up to 10 years in prison, you know, and just like from your understanding, right? I know you just came home recently, right? From doing your time. When them guys came like on the yard or whatever, like what was the type of conversation y'all was having with them? Like a person that, you know,
basically
woke up
what
and
like basically like you have older G's when the young brothers coming, is they affiliated, say, listen, I represent Damo, you hear me? So when brothers come in, we pull them up. We want to see their paperwork. We want to see what they in there for. And we ask them if they part of this nation, why they want to become part of this nation. What can they bring to the nation? Okay, what they contribute. Because we already have more or less as far as hitters. You hear me? And the hitters we became so infiltrated with individuals that the thing basically got out of hand. So now what the older brothers would do if they was in general population, they would talk to the young brothers coming in, make sure they get their GED, make sure they learn the law, and make sure they're going to work out and ask them where do they see themselves as far as in the future, like it's going home. See, when a lot of brothers have their life bid, you're not leaving, but it all depends on what you see, how you see yourself, and what kind of legacy you want to leave for the younger brothers. Because there's too many old timers in the system that's just washed up. They come home, they get caught up in drugs, and they go in and out the system, and their legacy, that's all they know, institutionalized. So now when you got younger brothers in the system that's around you on a daily basis, knowing they could be your children, they could be your nephews, they could be your cousins, it's your obligation as an older black man and a strong black man to enlighten them if they want to hear it or not. You don't accept them. You just don't let them know this shit is a joke, being behind this G-wall, living in a cage. Do you know what it takes for a person to be inside a cage? Okay, they call it a cell. You could dress it up with music, TV, but you in a cage. You in a cage for decades. And you're away from society. And you're in a hostile environment. And if you're not mentally strong and spiritually sound, a lot of brothers come home, they can't make it. And the system breaks them. So we pull the younger brothers up. Those that want to hear it. A lot don't want to hear it because they think it's a game. But then when they get like 9 or 10 years in, and they see they done passed all their 20s and now they in their 30s, then they starting to think, damn, it's a lot more to this, just having a name and a reputation.
Right,
and
because a lot of people are caught up on that, right?
Like my brother saying, what's real important is a lot of individuals that be in the system, when they come out, they don't reach back. So when the brothers come home, we need some kind of hand. You need some kind of help. Like my brother doing the things he doing, the volunteer work, and helping individuals that want to help themselves. If you don't want to do nothing, you ain't gonna do nothing. If you want to try to make a difference, you're gonna do what you got to do to the best of your abilities. And that's my thing. That's how we used to run down on them, and that's how we used to G-check them. And some of them never had that because they don't have no father figures, so they never had nobody really care about them without trying to use them. See, when you're a strong man and you behind that wall and you well known and respected, it's already what you're capable of doing physically with your hands, with a knife, with a scalpel. That's not important. It's what you're trying to do, what position you're trying to lead your people. Because you can easily lead them to violence and chaos when you're trying to educate them and show them a better way. Show them a better way where they ain't got to suffer after 30 or 40 years in the system. Then they tell you go home and they give you $40 and they tell you, yo, just go ahead and make it. And you ain't even got a GED and you got no institutional trades and you have no formal education. So how are you going to function in society? You're going to go back and do the same thing you was doing before you came in there. And that's how the system is designed.
And what do you think? Like somebody put a comment in the comment, man. Shout out Shawa Pops. He basically saying like how, you know, you could get caught with drugs, but a lot of the enhancement comes when, again, I spoke on it earlier, when your name is tied as maybe some sort of leadership or some sort of organization,
right,
and then a Rico comes, right?
Right. And that's one of the weapons the system got, like my brother was speaking on with the feds. And hold on. They got all these different statutes where if you involve in an unorganized organization, then they label you a gang member. Then they have all these individuals talking about their gang experts as far as with the lingo and the language, that information they get from informants, people giving them information. So now they try to tell you that they're expert in your lifestyle and they know nothing about your lifestyle. The only thing they know is what's being told to them by those who said they was a part of this organization. And then they put the status on there, okay, you're involved in gangs. You're involved in a position of leadership. So my thing is, I did at least close to like 14 to 15 years in isolation in SEG. That's because they wanted to keep me out of population because of the things I was doing and because of the way I was moving and because of the way I was disciplined. And that was basically trying to break me and keep me out the population. But I continued to do what I did, and I represented to the day I left out the system after 25 straight years. And
Okay, so
leaving out
you end up doing 25 years, like because people don't know, like what was you in for?
Well, I was in there for, I call it an assault case. I call it an assault and a robbery. I was labeled by the state a violent persistent felon offender. That's a law, penal law 70.08 and 70.010. That's a penal law statute they use where they can enhance your sentence. Being I was originally charged with an assault, I went to trial. I was convicted of assault first degree, a persistent violent felony offender. They gave me 25 to life. They gave me 15 to life for a third degree robbery, which only carries 7 years, but they enhanced the sentence because of prior felonies I caught as a juvenile. And I caught an armed robbery and attempt murder when I was 21. Unfortunately, I've been doing time in New York State prison since the 70s. I first went upstate in 78. I was 18. I didn't realize it at the time. I was just young. I was wild. I did the time recklessly, wilding. Didn't even go to school and get a GED. Just up north boxing, working out. Came home, continued to do the same thing, putting guns in my hands, taking money, trying to look for the fast come up. It didn't work. I ended up back in the system on a 5 to 10 bid. Got out of that. Ended up in another bid. And then I had the prior felony convictions, and that's what enhanced this sentence.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to ask you about too. You know, and Tommy, he been up here before and he spoke on it, like far as enhancements. You know, like me, not enhancement, but the PSI, the sentencing guidelines, and you having previous crimes. You know, like you said, you've been doing time since the 70s, and then now you go get this Fed case, and they use everything against you to add more time. So even if you go ahead.
No, that's a lot of things. Like a lot of brothers, they don't tell a youth that's out there now. You understand what I'm saying? Even if you have a prior crime and they gave you probation, okay, and you catch a case under the federal statute. I'm not too familiar about the federal law like my brother. I'm familiar with the state law because that's what I was working on. I was in the state system and he was in the fed system. But once you do that, they learn when they work from that stops a lot of things from enhancing, because there's a difference when you're in New York State. You become a first felony offender, okay? Then you become a predicate. Then you can become a persistent, a stressonary, or a violent persistent. You get caught with a gun, you could end up doing 8 months on Now get caught with a hammer again, you might get a 2 to 4. You get caught with another hammer, they offer you like 15 to life. And a lot of the youths are not prepared for that because they first felony, they got a light bid. Second felony, they might go up north 2 to 4, some small shit, but not knowing the system is stacking the felonies on them. And then when they come back in the system, they turn their lights out. And if you check the recidivism rates, it's like when you come in the system, you could come in the adult system and the state is 16. They consider you adult at 16. The majority of brothers, by the time they 29 and 32, they already have 3 felony convictions. And they be sentenced to life sentences for robberies, gun charges, drugs. And they said, damn, why they gave me life? But they added your prior crime. And if you acknowledge the law and you study the law, you seeing they're being biased because you already served that time. That's like double jeopardy. But they're saying based on the felony I caught in the 70s, from a case I caught in the 90s, they used that to enhance my sentences and they gave me homicide time.
Wow, that's crazy. And a lot of, like you said, a lot of the youth don't know this. Even some of the older guys that's, you know what I'm saying, that
No,
still
they
might be
don't.
out there, they don't know
See,
this type of information.
the way my brother was speaking on the different statutes, they enhance, like, say if you got a drug dealing and you armed, that's enhanced statute. You armed committing that felony, it might be your first felony, but you might have an extended clip. That's a statute where they enhance the crimes. And dudes don't see this, they don't see it. I just got busted with a hammer, but your hammer got a switch on and it got extended clip. And they have statutes for all of that. And just like as we follow sports, politics, music, okay, if you out in the streets and you doing dirt, then you need to follow the law. You need to understand these laws, they're changing and how they enable these laws to become law. You ask the average person that's doing dirt, how do they make criminal law? They couldn't even tell you.
Big Chuck, when you get a chance, let me speak on that federal enhancement so you can understand the difference between the federal
go ahead, bro.
state. Okay, the federal enhancement runs a little different. Now, my brother just brought up a good point about the double jeopardy claim in the state system, the way that they enhance you on the thing. You already did time for it. You're doing time again. The federal system works a little different. Okay, they have a guideline board and a statute. The statute, for example, if you're a second-time drug offender, the statute changes your mandatory minimum and your maximum, both at the same time. But not only that, it also increases your guideline points. So when you get convicted of a crime in the feds with a prior conviction, not only does your statutory range go up, but your guideline range also, it goes up and then it goes across. So you're actually being punished 3 times for your felony conviction, okay? Now, the bottom line that people don't understand until you understand the system is that these enhancements that you're talking about, to understand how they work and how they operate for the system, is that they're used as sentencing manipulations, meaning that it gives the government the power to manipulate your sentence. Basically, you can be arrested for a misdemeanor, and by the time that they give you these enhancements, it converts that misdemeanor into a felony charge. For example, you convicted of a crime, and that crime is the penalty is a 0 to 20 range. Okay, so you get arrested. Now there's evidence that you sold drugs to a person that was under the age of 18. There's a 2-point enhancement.
Yep.
You get charged with the fact, or now I'm not going to say charge because it's actually not a charge. That's why I say it's sentencing manipulation and sentencing enhancements. They find out that the person was pregnant. That's another 2 points. They found out that you told a friend to hold drugs for you. Now you got another 2 points for leadership role.
Wow.
Okay. Now you have another 2 points because it's that's ridiculous stuff that they add the points on, and it goes on and it doesn't stop. and you have no ability or no right to challenge it. You can make an objection to it, but because the judge has the power to sentence you from 0 to 20 range, he can consider all of those things and then give you the max. Okay.
Right.
And this is why you have individuals that's arrested and then indicted, and when they get arraigned, they don't know how much time they're facing. You know, and the lawyers are helpless because you don't know any of this until after the conviction. So you can't even challenge, and nor do you know what to challenge during trial. You know, I'll let you guys go back into what you was going. I just wanted to make that point clear. So that
I got a
understand.
question for you though, Tommy. So like you said with the enhancement, so a lot of times, like say for example, you know what I'm saying, I was caught with marijuana before, and you know, before it was legal, and then it was a small amount. It was probably like, you know, 2 grams or something, right? So they give you a slap on the wrist, but then the judge tells you, like, okay, we'll plead you out. You can plead no contest, whatever. And then what happens is we gonna give you an enhancement, though. A lot of people don't understand what the enhancement really means. So if you caught again with the same amount, now you could be facing jail time, right? Then you caught again with the third amount, now you can become a felon.
Right. See,
With the
that's
same
why,
amount, the 2 grams of weed.
right. That's why I say, listen to me carefully again. It's sentencing manipulation. And like you're saying, the same thing my brother was saying earlier, you get caught with this amount, they let you go. Yep. Because they know down the future you're gonna come back, and you're gonna come back with something different. And so now they're gonna throw that up in your face. Listen, you know you're facing 3 felonies. You know you're facing this. We need that big fish now. How can you help us? Right. How can you work with us? When you
that
choose
same
not
thing
to work
happened
with,
to me, Chuck.
Go ahead, bro.
I got caught with a gram of weed, but because I had $16,000 on me, they charged me with possession for sales and trafficking. Now,
wow.
I also had a medical marijuana card, but because I had multiple felonies, I was facing 12 years. It cost me $30,000 to get for that 1 gram of weed.
It's crazy.
You know something else that's an interesting point. And I like that point, right? Because in the feds, you know what they do? Mm-hmm. The $16,000 that he got caught with, they convert that into drugs now. Sometimes.
What?
You understand? Without
they
proof.
can do that?
Yeah, yes,
yeah, because it's purchasing power.
They exactly. They use it as purchasing power or possession with the intent to purchase. And even in the feds, which a lot of people not realize, you have individuals, and this happened in my case, and this is why I'm speaking from knowledge, that the only drugs that was actually seized, even though they wasn't seized from me, they were seized from somebody else, was actually cocaine powder. Listen to me carefully. The only chemist test that was recommended at the trial was the test for cocaine powder. But when it got to sentencing, what they did was they converted all that cocaine to crack cocaine because it increased my mandatory minimum sentence to life.
That's crazy. Wow. They playing dirty. Somebody put in the comments, they like, is that the 3-strike law or is that the crime bill?
Well, see what happens is we lose focus, right? Now listen to what I'm saying. You see the question that you're asking, and right. this is something that I'm teaching. This is something that's going to be in the documentary that I'm talking about that's coming up soon. It shows how they manipulate. You're getting convicted of a crime, and that crime might just be possession of a weapon or possession of drugs. Now, what happens is all of these enhancements, the 3-strike law, these are not crimes. These are enhancements.
Yeah.
They're enhancement statutes that's given the government or the state the power to enhance the crime that you committed. And in most cases, these crimes or these enhancements, they're actually crimes as a matter of constitutional law. These enhancements that they're using against you that doesn't go before the jury, that's determined by the judge, determined by the prosecutor, actually violate your constitutional rights. Because you don't have a chance to defend them. You can't defend them, because if you had the ability to offend them, you would go back to something that Lep said earlier. It violates double jeopardy because you already did the time for it.
It is double jeopardy, but they use it as the way to give them a larger scope of discretion in that sentencing guidelines. So they're basing on a point system, to whereas you're facing your entire criminal history, and then in criminal history, it gets factored into your sentencing. That it's almost like a variable. It enhances it.
I agree with that.
Right. That's crazy. And like let's get into like some of the topics. So Big Meech, you know, so I was speaking with you earlier today in regards to the Big Meech situation, Tommy, and you know, it's pretty crazy how, you know, they saying this third party cooperation. This lady named Tammy, she pretty much, you know, she went to the feds contacted her and wanted her to be involved in, you know, taking down a few drug dealers. And in the process, she made reference that, okay, if I do this for you, can you get Meech out? Now, I start with this, right? So she said this is in like what the you know, the DEA agent is saying. This is all in the reports. This is from the, I think, the original affidavit. But you know, when she ended up going on the stand, she said that these things wasn't true. So like how does that variable work when she's lying about either or? You know what I'm saying? How do they figure out what she lying about? Okay, are you telling the truth about how the situation transpired, or now you saying the truth now?
Right. Well, see, that again is a difficult one, because in a lot of these scenarios, the feds control the facts. They control what you hear, what you see, and what you don't see. Okay, so you're going to always have a lot of gossip around the table with things like that. I can tell you not so much of what I know about Big Meech's case, but the little bit of investigation that I did into that situation and what I understand about the law. Okay. Looking into his files, I didn't see anything that would show that there was a third party agreement in his personal records. Does that mean that it was not? No, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It definitely does not, because I've seen too many cases where you have a lot of sealed records, sealed documents, and people just don't have the knowledge about them. Okay. There's a chance that he clearly didn't have any knowledge of it, but there's a chance under the laws and the procedures that in order for a third party corporation to go through, that his lawyer would have to be aware of it. Now, whether or not his lawyer told him about it or brought it to his attention, that's for somebody else to answer. I don't know the answer to that. I'm not aware of that. You understand what I'm saying? But
Right.
I do know when you start talking about a person changing their stories and stuff like that, the federal government runs under a system. Most of their police reports and we're going to say statements filed or statements heard are usually they fall up under D6 forms or 302 forms. And most of those forms, if you read them and review them, you'll notice that there's no signed statement under the penalties of perjury. And the reason for that is that if you look up the definition of the penalty, if you look up the definition of perjury, what satisfies perjury, or how do you prove perjury? Perjury is two inconsistent sworn statements where if one is true, it's impossible for the second one to be true. And I said that to say, when you go back to the feds and how they manipulate their cases, when they do their D6 forms and their 302 forms, if you notice them and you examine any of them, they're not signed under the penalties of perjury. They're not signed by the person allegedly given the statement at all. They're signed by an officer that's in there witnessing the statement, and they're signed by the prosecutor. And in most cases, and I can tell you this because I've worked on hundreds of cases, listened to hundreds of cases, you'll see, and I can tell you even in my case, we have witnesses that came forth, and the first thing they would say is, hey, I never said that. That's not me. I don't know who put that down there, but I didn't say that. Or they would come in and they say, I don't know that witness. And it's because it allows these forms, they allow the government to give their version of the case and the theory. And in most cases that come in, because most witnesses are given something of value for their testimony, and in most cases that's their freedom, when these statements are confronted at a trial settings or while they on stand, they don't object to them or they don't say anything to them because they're afraid that it's going to affect that reduction in sentence that they're about to get. But it's difficult to argue or challenge and say that this person lied on this statement and he's lied here and he lied there, because like I said, they're not under the penalties of perjury, and that's why the government don't do that. Another thing the government do, if you look at a witness's plea agreement, in the plea agreement, it has a statement that I agree, if needed or necessary, to take a lie detector test, right? But the manipulation behind that is it sounds good and it's easy to convince a jury with that. But in reality, if you ask any of them witnesses, have they took a lie detector test, they're going to tell you no, because they're afraid that they're going to fail a lie detector test. Is that something that's put there to give the appearance that you're listening to a credible witness?
Got you. And what's the difference from like first party and third party cooperation? Because in the Tammy situation, I believe I seen that she was paid $210,000 for her cooperation. So from my understanding and what people told me, they were saying that that's first party because she was paid and she was paid to be the snitch. So
Right.
like, how does that work?
That's absolutely correct. And usually in those cases, that means she's working as a informant. It doesn't necessarily mean that she's doing third party work. Okay,
Right.
She's probably working as an informant, giving evidence, working
So
undercover.
she can get paid, right?
Right. She's being paid for her time. You know what I'm saying? To move, to hide her identity, to go to certain clubs, to to do a lot of different things. Like if you look at it, you had a case out of Buffalo, Sly Green. His informants was paid, I think, a $250,000, and also given, I think, like $500,000 to purchase a house and to change their identity. You know what I'm saying? To testify against him. That's definitely first party. Third party, though, third party corporation means that you're incarcerated and you don't have access to what's going on out there in the streets, and somebody else that out there, they might have witnessed a crime or robbery or something like that, and they give up information, and under that information, it can reduce your sentence, even though you don't have the knowledge of what's going on or what they're talking about.
Wow, that's crazy.
Hey, Chuck.
Yo.
But the Tammy situation is a unique situation because there's a illicit sexual relationship between the secret agent and the informant, and it's been documented that she was lying. She was lying on multiple times. That the information that she gave for the 2012 indictment was erroneous, and like Agent Cromer instructed other agents to receive information from her, knowing that it was fraudulent, and he was still paying her in the $2,500 payment. So I think that's a supremely unique situation. So her statements is compromised in more ways than one, and also
right,
the ability for him to say her statements are untrue is compromised as well, because his credibility is in question.
And that goes to another question I got for you, Tommy. Like when it comes to the agent Cromer, like he said, this guy, he pretty much hit the stand. They wanted to account for the events that took place, and some of the events he pleaded the fifth to. And I think it was the big Meech situation. Like, did she wanted to have the third party cooperation and all that, but he pleaded the fifth. She denied it in trial, which she changed her affidavit, and then he pleaded the fifth. Now I know when someone pleads the fifth, don't mean that that question that they're asking is some sort of a truth, or even if it's a lie. Some people just choose to, plead the fifth. But in that particular scenario, bro, an agent, law enforcement, his back is against the wall. Why would you think he would plead the fifth? Just your opinion.
Well, it could be for a number of different reasons. For example, it could be because he's afraid that he's going to say something that's going to incriminate himself. You understand what I'm saying? It could be some knowledge or information that he just don't want to give up because he don't want it to go left. You understand what I'm saying? Not necessarily incriminating himself, but it could just be for protection because I'll just give you an example of somebody, an individual that pled the fifth in my case, right? And I don't want to go to my case back and forth to just try to sidetrack this, but I just want you to see the purpose. I had a co-defendant that was charged with murder in the state. And he called the witness that was a government witness in my federal case to testify in his case because she was aware of the fact that he didn't commit the murder because he was with her somewhere else doing the crime. But in that particular case, she pled the fifth. Now it wasn't nothing for possibly for her to say that would incriminate herself because she wasn't a part of the murder. But the question is, why did she plead the fifth? Okay, she pled the fifth, listen to me carefully, in my opinion, to manipulate the federal jury so that they could believe that she had something to do with the murder so that they could hold that against this client and use that as uncharged evidence to think that we were involved with a murder. Do you understand what I'm saying? And the sad thing is with it that when you look at that pleading of the fifth, because she didn't have any involvement in the murder, it was actually perjury. It was actually perjury under the penalties because the Fifth Amendment is a right that prevents self-incrimination. And she was not being charged with a crime. She was not involved in a crime.
So that's the actual use, because you just hit me right there, right? So the actual use of the fifth would probably be to not do self-incrimination.
Right. That's the purpose of it. But a lot of people also use it. Listen to me carefully. They also use it when they don't want to testify because they don't want to seem like or have the appearance of being a snitch.
Got you. Wow, I didn't even know that. Like honestly, because it makes sense. It makes a whole lot of sense, And the law is just crazy, bro. I love to have brothers like you up here. You and your brother Louie. We got Rich Dollas in the building. It's just like these conversations are not had in our community, bro. That's a fact. And some of these conversations can probably help somebody. Because if I heard all of this before, like I jumped off the porch one day, right? When I was young. But if I heard all of this in all these different scenarios and shit, and someone broke it down to me, like how we doing it in this video, bro, I promise you, hell no. I'm not trying to go that route.
It made you think a lot more.
Yes. Luckily for me, I thought enough where I didn't have to do no penitentiary time, or anything like that. But I did, like, I took them chances. So, something like, man, I'm loving this, bro. Real talk.
The same risks you took. That's the main thing about Black life just in America. Those are risks we take every day. And at the same time, when you acknowledging the risks you taking, then you need to understand what you up against.
Right.
And that's what the OBS don't teach our youth. And we got to give it to them. You got to give it to them raw. You can't sugarcoat it because they wait and then they get trapped. When they get trapped, then they looking for ways out and they looking for an advice. Damn, why nobody never told me this? Look, you just said the same thing. This kind of knowledge and this kind of wisdom and experience was never given to me. You only get certain things because people want you to feel, okay, this is all you could do, or manipulate you let you know you don't have a lot of resources, like your life is not important, like a black life does not matter. As they say, Black Lives Matters, yes, but we strong people. That's why we still here. But we must let our youth know, and the older G's, what we up against in 2025. Because the system is designed to destroy us,
Yeah.
especially if you're strong, especially if you challenge them, especially if you try to spread knowledge about what they're doing. They will get you out the way by any means necessary. And that's real talk.
No, bro, for sure. And that's why I say like they don't know that, bro. It's like, you know, you would think that people would think like, okay, if I go do this, you know, what I'm looking at, you know, but
Exactly.
most people don't think about none of that. Not even just the thought of like, okay, what if I do get caught? What I'm looking at, you know, and
Exactly.
sometimes that would deter a person from actually committing these crimes, you know, and
Right.
unfortunately, it's
It's
like it's inside our community, bro. We need more brothers like you, more brothers like Tommy to speak out on it, you know.
yes. I definitely agree with that on. I'm gonna do my part, bro. That's my obligation. That's my duty as a black man. Use my experience, not no internet shit, not no fantasy shit. Reality things that I survived, things I survived, and count my blessings to be able to survive them, to be able to come out of a system as wicked as the prison system is, be mentally sound, physically fit, and to have your spirits up. That takes a different kind of individual. And a lot of brothers come out and they broken. They might not appear broken physically. They might look okay. But you sit down, you have a conversation with them, and then you see them do the same thing. You say, damn, Sharon, that brother ain't stupid. He ain't slow. But why he did the same thing? Because he was institutionalized. And
Right. And I like the way you speaking on that because
he rather live
that's
in
a lot of
there.
situations, right?
He rather live in the system than to face the reality in society. Because in the system, you know what you're going to face because you've been in there for decades. And some brothers feel this is all I know. I came out, I didn't know what a debit card was. And I learned all that slowly, and I'm still learning day by day. I got some people in my life, in my circle, that's showing me ways, show me things, and I'm transforming back to society. I was going a long time. Like I said, what we have and what we trying to do, and I respect you, Big Chuck, for what you're doing, because you putting
No,
it out there.
yeah.
And we need that. We need that. People need to hear that. Real shit. Instead of listening to some bullshit, delusional shit, these false stories. These people getting in these internets and telling these stories, speaking about the prison system. But when you ask them, have you ever been in the cage for 25 years?
Hmm.
Have you ever been isolated from society for decades, then placed back out in society and say, not fend for yourself?
That's
Now,
deep,
we're not
bro.
gonna hold your hand. We're not gonna hold your hand. We don't owe you no sorry. These are choices we made. And me on some gangster shit, the choices I made, I live by them and I handle them. And I stand firm to the day. And my name is well known and greatly respected. It's the life I choose. Was I successful? No, I wasn't. So this is why I don't want other brothers to feel like, listen, yeah, Louie Lep did all that time. I could do it. Nah, it's not a game. It's not a motherfucking game. Real talk.
No, that's a fact, bro. And you right about that because it's like I remember I got a cousin, rather, you know what I'm saying? And my cousin, when I did the math on it, you know, he came home a few times, but bro, he actually been in prison more than he was even outside, and that's including his time as like a baby. You
Right,
know, if we go
right.
back from the day he was born to the day he started going to jail, and then we do the number, like, okay, how many years he spent in jail, how many years he spent on the street, you'll
Mm,
come up that he spent more time in jail.
true indeed.
So how, like, I don't know, like, how do you expect him to act, or you know, especially if these brothers not doing the right way, you know, and that can all be a mentality. You feel me? Because we was talking about X in the beginning and how X, you know, he's utilizing his time. You know, he got a bunch of different certificates. I'm talking about 100 and something hours, 300 hours that it take to even get these certificates, right?
Right.
So that's definitely something different. So I definitely want to tell anybody that's listening that if your back is against the wall, you know what I'm saying, just try to utilize your time because you never know when you might get that out date. You know what I'm saying? So, like, say for example, with him,
Yeah,
he
I got
get out,
15 left. I got to charge this thing.
he's still older, right? But yet he got all this different background, all these certificates. He a little bit able to adjust to what's going on in society more than a person who just, you know what I'm saying, just sat around like shit. I hope I get out one day.
Right. Right.
No,
Now I'm
for real,
following you.
man. Yep,
You know that, and
crazy.
that's a systematic problem. That's a worldwide problem because that's how the system designed it to break you and send you back or just give up. And when you challenge them and when you show them, listen, when you challenge them by their words and their laws, this is why I'm and respect my brother. That's my older brother, Tammy. I respect him. He challenged them. They had him locked down for life, and he helped a lot of high profile cases. Brothers that had 6 life sentences, and they made it out. So the thing is, you never can give up, especially if you're a black man and you're a strong one. You're going to continue to fight, regardless what you're facing, regardless of your circumstances. You have 2 choices. Either you remain strong or they break you. Bottom line. And that's the same thing when you come to the streets. Either I'm going to fall victim again or I'm going to remain strong. Whatever come my way, just have to come my way. But I'm going to do what I must do. And that's what we must continue to do, bro. You must continue to do what you do. My brother must continue to do what I do. And those are like-minded and intelligence. We must share our information and try to light those that need to be enlightened.
Right.
Because a lot of brothers don't know. They really don't know, bro. They think they.
That's a good point though, bro. Like, so you know, both of y'all being older than me, at least in like when it comes to, you know, somebody not comprehending what you're trying to tell them, or they not, you know, interested in what you're trying to tell them. Do you fall back? What's the process with that? Because that's what a lot of people are going through. You know, a lot of the OGs is like, well, I told him, shit, he ain't listening, so shit, I'm going my way. What y'all think about that?
You want to answer first, Lep, or you want me to answer first? Well, I'll start, Chuck.
Go ahead, bro.
See that's a difficult situation because that's what I deal with even in helping people with their cases. So a lot of people don't want to listen. You follow what I'm saying? So the first thing I try to do is I try to convince them that you paying me or you hired me to help you. And the only way I can help you is you have to listen to me or you have to trust what I'm telling you. But people are not gonna listen, but you still, like something my brother said earlier, he felt that he's obligated to do certain things as a black man, but you still have to plant that seed. You follow what I'm saying? They might not listen today, but maybe tomorrow, a week or two from now, or either when they're sitting in that jail cell, it'll all start coming together. You understand what I'm saying? Or what they should have listened to, or what they should have considered in the decisions that they actually made. When you take people like X, Prince, Guy Fisher, Wallace Rice, all those guys that I mentioned earlier who was able to get out of jail, all it took was a little time behind the bars, or like my brother said, a little time in that cage. They realized it was a cage. It wasn't a cell. It wasn't a party. And they decided that it's time to change their lives and move on and to do something different. If you look at our system and you change and you do the research and you check the data, you're not going to make it as a criminal. That is out. You understand what I'm saying? You have very few people that's successful and that make it, but most people don't make it. And then if you even talk to those people that have made it, they'll tell you some of the stuff that they went through was not even worth it. You understand what I'm saying? Like you'll find yourself selling drugs to support other people, support their habits, to pay their bills. You follow what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you think you're getting ahead, but you're not getting ahead.
No, for sure, bro. And then I got another topic that we want to chime in before we get up out of here, man. I definitely appreciate you, brothers. K Flock. So, K Flock, I guess he started his trial this weekend. One of the key components that everybody's talking about on social media is the fact that, his buddy, his bro, was testifying against him. You know what I'm saying? Like, if a person is testifying against you in a trial, does that automatically make it where you're gonna be found guilty?
No, that doesn't automatically. Let me speak on that. That doesn't automatically make you sound guilty, but it automatically adds an enhancement for the state or the government because it's somebody that knows you, number one. Somebody has some personal dealings with you. And even if they lying, the government manipulated to make it seem credible. And they could use that testimony. Because I could say, yeah, I know K Flock for like 4 or 5 years. We did a couple of drills together, this, that, and other. And he could be lying. He could be freestyling. But they gonna jack it. So now he got the champ. Now he got the not only challenge that enhanced fraudulent testimony, but also what else the government got. Because he a young brother and they want to make sure he don't get out. This is why they still going at him. And this is the same way individuals need to learn. When you in this system, you fortunate enough, you might get your hands on the jack phone. Be cautious of what you say. Be cautious what you say on camera. Be cautious what you say on the internet. It's not a game. Stop placing yourself in compromised positions and then say you're being treated unfair when you giving up information on yourself and your team. But people do it for the following. They want the fame. They want the little 15 minutes of fame, but not knowing that little 15 minutes of fame can turn into a life sentence. And it be your words they use against you or your lyrics, as they say, rap lyrics.
Actually, that's the heart of the government's case against him. Some of the songs that he put out and stuff, And listen, I'm in agreement with everything you actually said. And one of the key factors is it ties into what we were saying earlier when you start talking about the manipulation and the power. You start talking about these sentences that's so high. Why did the federal take the case? The number one crime that he charged with, to Rico, he's facing a mandatory life sentence or death sentence. You understand what I'm saying? So when you get a buddy in there, remember I told you that rather than 10 years, your buddy said, man, listen, bro, I'm going to go ahead and hold this out, man. Look out for me and the family. When you start talking about life sentences and death penalties, they're like, man, listen, bro, I can't do that, man. I can't do that. I got a family. I got to look out. I got to get home, man, to my family. You got to handle that on your own, or I got to do what I got to do so I can get out and take care of my family. So, those are one of the things that as criminals or as people in the street, I try to teach people all the time. Listen, for years, as long as you lived on this earth, as long as I lived on, there have been snitches. You're not going to get around that. That's a part of that game. You understand what I'm saying? People are going to tell on you, whether they're friends, family members, or like my brother was saying earlier, you're in a worse situation when the government could use a friend, a loved one, or family against you because it becomes more credible, even though it could be 100% lie, because the jury's going to look at it and say, oh, that's his best friend. That's his buddy. That's
he must
his
be
brother.
telling the truth.
That's his sister. Yeah, he must be telling the truth. Why would he lie against him? And these Rico counts, these conspiracy counts, what makes them so hard to defeat, because the government in most cases don't need proof. They don't need solid proof. You follow what I'm saying? All you have to do is convince the jury of a theory, a story, okay? And in most cases, people are being paid to tell those stories. So how do you think the story is going to go? What favor do you think the story is going to go in? You
Right, and the
understand what I'm
people
saying?
that favor that they
Listen,
paid.
right. Now listen to. I'm gonna give you some real quick facts that I just got, and I studied these facts from the movie series that I'm working on now. In the 2000s, the feds consistently had over 90% conviction rate. In 2002, they had 99.2%, meaning that the people that was being found not guilty was less than 1%. That is amazing, man. That percentage is higher than DNA. You understand what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
How do listen, you know what makes it crazy? You know what makes it possible to be successful? The manipulation of the facts, the paying for testimony, and the manipulation of the truth. It makes their conviction rate evident. It makes the conviction rate evitable because they can't lose.
Right. And then, like you said earlier, the fact that they are coming at your, they could come at your damn mother, they come at your brother, they come at
Right,
your
exactly.
sister, your best friend. But another reason why a lot of people cop out is because of these same scenarios. They might not even did that shit. Like, look, I done some things, but I didn't do that. But you know what? Maybe it's karma. I'm gonna go ahead and cop out because they saying that they gonna arrest my mother. They saying that they gonna arrest my grandmother. You know what I'm saying? My father, etc.
I've seen hundreds of cases like that. I'll give you another good case too. That's an example of what you just explained. You look at Young Thug, right? You see how his co-defendants after that they were found not guilty.
Yeah.
Right, but he pled guilty. Right, he wanted to go to trial. Right, but the manipulation of him getting up every day at 3-4 o'clock in the morning, eating bologna sandwiches, going to court, going to trial, the aggravation of sitting there, having people come in there lie against him, it manipulated him into taking a plea. He was tired of going through it. He was aggravated. He wanted to take the shot, take the chance of going home with that plea. And he had finally got a judge that was listening to him, where the other judge wasn't listening to him.
Yeah, that's a good point, because that's exactly what pretty much happened. Because he came out after the fact. Once he seen that they was found not guilty, he came out and was like, "Yo, damn, what happened?" You know what I'm saying? He contacted his lawyer. It was all on social media, and they was like, "What happened?" Like, shit, he was kind of upset that I'm pretty sure that he didn't go all the way through. But like you said, it's manipulation. You know what I'm saying? At the highest degree. Because it just don't stop with, the manipulation of the sentencing. It started with the manipulation of, say, someone's family members, their wife, their kids. Like, oh yeah, they going down too. Shit,
right?
Didn't they receive that gift that you gave them? Oh, okay, that was drug money, right? Oh,
right.
I bet. You know what I'm saying? They involved too now. So it's real sick, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I hate the fact that that these laws are made in reference to doing things like this. Like, I don't have no reason to be against no law-abiding citizen or even me following the laws, but make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? Don't put out laws where that you gonna throw this motion in or something, and then it's gonna change things. But then when the same person, like we was talking about X earlier, he throwing in different motions in regards to something that came up with the president, changing some things when it comes to sentencing guidelines, and these guys been in jail too long for drug activity, and you don't want to look at it, or you like, no, not him.
Right.
Like, what's up with that, man?
That's the situation he in. But see, if you just look at what our president said at one time, right? And when I'm talking about president, I'm talking about President Trump. When they were trying to indict President Trump and arrest him, the first thing he said when he found out the people that were testifying against him and that the government was giving those people something of value, he said that it's outrageous. It violates the Constitution. It should be against the law. It's unlawful. What do you expect for these people to say? They're going to say exactly what the government want them to say. And that is your president saying that.
Right. That's crazy. And you know, he knows. He knows.
Right.
He knows, and he knows what time it is when it comes to some of these individuals. And that's like, you know, even when he was running for president, some of the things that he said, like, look, when I become president, you know, I'm gonna strip the head person of the FBI they power.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna start over. And you know, some people it was backlash behind that, but maybe that needs to happen. You know, maybe it'd be a good person or a bad person. I don't know, but clearly what's going on right now in the system is not working. But yeah, man, I appreciate you brothers, man, coming up here and you know, because it's bigger than just I can't just say like, yeah, giving the youth this conversation, but it's even bigger than the youth because you still got some guys that's still in the game, man. You know,
that need it.
Shit that's that need it, that don't really fully understand, because if you getting slapped on the wrist and you know you stand out the way or whatever, that don't mean that you absent to the fact that one day it might be your turn.
Right. No, it means that you're vulnerable. Listen to me carefully. It means that you're vulnerable for those persistent felonies, and eventually down the road you might be facing a life sentence and don't even know it.
Don't even know it. Because I honestly, bro, I wouldn't know, like, but it makes sense, you know, because I'm familiar with enhancements. I told you about what they try to do with me just for like a 2 gram bag of weed. So, you know, I'm familiar with enhancements, but you don't think like, okay, they like, okay, you'll do some time. All right, they ain't gonna catch me again. Shit, I'm gonna smoke weed. I'm gonna do what I do. Shit, they gotta have to catch me. Or, you know, you selling drugs, or, you know, you get caught with a gun, right? You get caught with a gun, they like in Chicago, they'll smack you on the wrist and then put you on probation. I mean, not probation, and then send you home on house arrest because the jail's being overcrowded. So you like, oh shit, I'm gonna keep toting my pistol. Then you get hit again. Now you looking at 10, 15 years. You know what I'm saying? Now you're sitting. Don't get out again and do it, because like you said, you're looking at a life sentence. But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys coming up here. Oh yeah. What about Diddy? Back into it. Yeah, what about Diddy? Like the whole Diddy situation. Like, you know, I seen Diddy and Jay-Z. They had this lady that came up and she accused these guys of some things, and then they end up dropping the case, and then, you know, Jay-Z like, I'm gonna sue your ass. So now she's coming out saying that, okay, Jay-Z was there. I'm not fully saying that he was absent, but he was there and I wasn't lying. Like, what type of stuff happens to a person like that does something like that?
Well, in most cases, nothing, because the government or the state will protect them, and they'll come back and say that they were under pressure. JC with celebrity power. You understand what I'm saying? More or less controls the situation, and she's afraid of so she didn't want to say it, so she changed her story. You know, it's coercion. It's coming back to coercion and threats. You know, a person feel threatened that if I go against, you know, if I say that this person did this to me or did that to me, what are the consequences? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Hey, Louie, you there?
He probably stepped off. I see his mic is off.
Yeah.
It's on. Now my mic just, it's live now. You hear me, Big Chuck?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. So look,
I was here.
I know you from the Bronx, bro. Let them know exactly where you from in the Bronx.
Okay, I'm from the Castle Hill area in the Bronx.
Okay,
rolled up Castle Hill projects. Went to Stevenson High. Castle Hill's a north area in the Bronx. It's a well-known area. Strong history of Black Spade history. A lot of gang activities from Castle Hill projects to Soundview, Monroe, Africa Band Bottom, Zulu Nation, Bronx River. Those was different projects in that area that was going to war as we was youths. But the war back then was more fighting with your hands. You had some hammers, but very rarely will you take a brother's life for something stupid. Brothers was least conscious of that. You wasn't going to just kill a man over nothing. You had to have a knuckle check, and you had to have some hand skills. The guns did come into play in certain things, but it wasn't like that. The guns ain't really came to play crazy until the crack era really came to play.
Right,
Once the
right.
crack flooded in the hood, once the crack came in the hoods,
Shit went different.
yes, then you had automatics come in the hood. I was the type, listen, I had an M1 carbine when I was 15. And when I got arrested, my father could have came and got me, but the system wouldn't allow my father to get me because they was mad because of my criminal history at that time at a young age. They didn't allow him to take me. But they went crazy about that M1. And that was 75. You didn't have them kind of weapons in the streets. Only certain people had them kind of weapons. And like I said, the 80s flooded the streets with weapons. And right now you got them where you got extended clips, extension clips, and you got switches. And people are just getting them guns thinking they look nice and they getting on the internet showing them, but not knowing you enhance, you're playing yourself because you already getting charged with possession of a weapon and extended a clip and extended and you're gonna be labeled as a machine gun. So these are things you need to know. And like you said, it's not only the youth need to know this because you got a lot of older Jesus playing that because artillery is plentiful in the streets right now.
Yeah,
But
I
the thing
believe
is,
so
you got to
too.
always ask yourself, when they allow shit like that to come to the streets, imagine what they got.
Yeah.
Imagine what
You
they got
right
to
about
fight
that.
against that.
Yeah,
That's why they
you
let
right
that
about
come in the streets.
Yeah, you
So
right
these are
about that.
things, yeah, these are things we need to look at and ask these kind of questions. It's easy to point the finger. No one man has all the answers. But collective minds, you can find a passage, man. Like my brother said, it might not acknowledge a couple of people right now. They might not want to hear it. And some might want to hear this. A lot need to hear it. But it's up to them. Only thing we can continue to do is do what we doing.
Yeah.
Do your duty, Big Chuck, like you doing. Do your
Oh, no
duty, Tom, like you been doing, bro. And I'm gonna do mine.
That's where we at with it, man. And just one more question because I know you from the BX. It's a social media influencer that's on here. He got damn near 400,000 subscribers. His name is Hassan Campbell. Have you ever heard of Hassan Campbell in the Bronx?
No. And I'm a BX legend. And I can say that proudly.
Because I know you mentioned Bambaataa earlier, and you know I'm not gonna get into details of his situation with Bambaataa, but he said that he ran with Bambaataa too. So
okay, Bam was a respected brother, head of the Zulu Nation. He was strong. You know what I'm saying? And he had a strong little following in Bronx River. And he was a good dude. And like certain dudes knew in the circle what was his personal lifestyle was. And I don't get into that. I don't label brothers. I don't put no label on nobody that's not know for a fact, you know, because I don't have nothing to prove. I'm well secure in who I be and who I am and what I say. So when I speak the truth. That's part of being Damu. You speak the truth. Because you're supposed to be fearless. You only lie and deceive yourself and others when you have something to hide. I have nothing to hide. So this is how I'm going to speak, and this is how I'll continue to be speaking all my life, Big Chuck.
yeah.
And it's good meeting you first time, first impression. Continue to do
Won't
what
be
you
the
do,
last,
bro.
bro. Won't be the last. I definitely want to lock in with an interview with you, man. I know you probably, not into the social media and stuff, but just what I'm saying, shout yourself out, bro. Just let them know.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my part, bro. You know?
Yep.
No one man got all the answers. No one man's an island. But like I said, collective minds can make different thoughts. You can give people different perspectives, and they can look at things in different ways, and they can make better decisions.
You're right.
So, and if you're doing that, that's all you can really do.
Yeah, because even in the corporate world, because like even my job, you know what I'm saying, they got a thing called second set of eyes. You know why? Because of what you just said. And they you know, it's a $1 billion company, so they implementing that with their employees. It's the same thing we should be implementing in life. You know, it's a reason behind that. They didn't just come up that with out of the sky. I'm pretty sure.
That's a fact.
You know, for sure,
That's a
bro. I
fact, bro.
appreciate you, though, man. We definitely gonna lock in and you know, I want to get your story out there too. Tommy, like, man, bro, let them know, bro. Let them know where they can, you know, if they need your help and where they can find you, things of that nature, bro.
You know, Second Chance for Real is my business, and we on the website. It's the Second Chance 4, and that's the number 4, not the word 4. Real. And you know, we here to help you, man. If you need help with pre-trial motions, pre-trial help, assisting your lawyer, trial work, appellate work, probation, parole. We do all of those things. We do clemencies and so on. And also, pretty soon, I have an app that I know I talked to you about before, Big Chuck.
Yep.
That I'm pushing, and it's going to be on the market soon. We're just trying to find a way to offer the app for free or little or nothing to people like you guys. And at the same time, we want to try to market it and sell it to attorneys so it can help and assist them in their cases. And hopefully that'll pay for the costs and stuff like that, and the free services to clients. And if we can't do it for a free service, it's going to be unbelievable cheap. You know, and this app, what it does is I call it Paralegal Pal, and you can download it on your phone, and you can get caught up in a jam, and you can ask it questions. It'll address your questions. It'll answer your questions. It'll help you out in situations. For example, you might be pulled over by the cops. You don't know what to do. You pick up the app. You explain the situation to the app. You ask the app what you should do, how should you handle it, and it will explain to you. You can get caught with 5 grams. You can get on the phone and ask the cop that's got caught with 5 grams of cocaine. I'm in the state of New York. How much time am I looking at? What are the consequences? And it'll explain everything to you.
Oh, no doubt, man. I definitely utilize that app in doing some more research. So, you know, I appreciate that app for sure, because I'm a blogger, so it definitely helps me out with, you know, being factual, you know, just not just speaking just to be speaking. So, man, salute to that, man. But
right, Chuck, I'm glad you brought that up too, because also we extended another component to the app where if you say you stuck and you have to write some type of paper, some type of draft or report, you can just talk to the app and ask the app to draft the summary for you or draft the outline, and it'll help you with that draft.
Wow. No, that's definitely amazing, bro. So, man, like I said, I appreciate you brothers, man, tuning in with us and coming up here and giving us all this good game. And the people that's just coming in, man, hit that replay. Share this on social media. Let everybody know what we got going on. You can use the hashtags. We talked about a few different subjects. You know, when it came to Big Meech, X from the BX, you know, Louie. You know, we spoke on a lot of different things, man. Guy Fisher, you know, Prince situation. And like I said, this brother Tommy, he's actually doing a lot of work, you know, and I'm hearing his brother today. This is the first time I'm having a conversation with him, and I can see he on the same page, you know, because everybody got their own way of doing things. And I definitely think that he found his lane too, you know. So, man, appreciate y'all, man. Salute.
You're welcome, brother.
Salute, bro.
Peace
Salute,
and
man.
blessings.
I'll talk to you. Peace, man. And thanks for having me on again. I appreciate you.
Peace.
Okay.
Hey, don't forget,
Hey,
as soon as we finish with this documentary, I promise you, man, you got my word, man. You get the first blast on it from me. Okay.
Appreciate that, bro.
All right,
bro. Y'all stay up. Peace.
Yes, sir.